Josh Donaldson hits a walk-off grand slam to salvage what is another series lost by the New York Yankees. The Yankees have now lost five straight series, and it could have been a lot worse. Like I say, usually on the other end of things, where the Yankees will maybe win the first two games and lose the last one, but this being a series, review, the Yankees do lose the series. And it was pretty ugly. And they could have very well been swept at home. The Yankees have not been swept at home all season. That continues. And this win, in some ways, was kind of a Yankee win that maybe we would have seen earlier in the season. As well as the Yankees had been when they were, on the hot streak, it was a lot of comeback victories, multi-run comeback victories, and that happened here, where the Yankees came back from down 4-0, down from 7-4, and were able to win the game. But a pretty eventful series in some ways, in terms of just roster moves as well. Long story short, the Yankees call up Ron Marinaccio, and Clay Holmes hits the IL with a back injury. It feels like a Phantom IL stint to me, and that's perfectly fine, honestly. It doesn't feel like he really has a back issue, but that's what they're saying. So Holmes will be on the shelf for a bit, and hopefully that'll get him going again. So Marinaccio back up, and thank God for that. Ron Marinaccio, I think, can be a very key piece to this bullpen. He is definitely stuff-wise and results-wise one of the best in the pen. So that's the pitching side of things. On the hitting side, the Yankees call up Oswaldo Cabrera, not Oswald Peraza, Oswaldo Cabrera, who made his major league debut tonight. He's kind of a utility guy, but mostly an infielder, where he actually played third base in this game. But he's played a lot of second base and shortstop as well. Mostly second, then short, then third. Those are his three main positions, but he could also play corner outfield, I think, if you needed him to. But Cabrera, a switch hitter, is up, and we'll see how that goes. I think he'll get a chance initially. And then Estevan Florial. So Florial, he'll get some center field opportunities. All of this meaning that Aaron Hicks, we'll talk about him. It's been a disaster. I keep on saying this. And he really, really capped it off with just an absolutely, as he called it, embarrassing first game of this series. In the field, at the plate. And I think we've reached Joey Gallo territory in Aaron Hicks. I really think his playing time is going to be very, very small. Will he get in there? Yeah, every now and then, but not that often. But the corresponding moves, Miguel Andujar and Tim Locastro are sent down. And for Andujar, it just hasn't worked. He was amazing as a rookie in 2018, and just ever since then, injuries and then just straight ineffectiveness have just plagued Andujar. And Locastro, I guess they felt wasn't really necessary with, the speedy Florial on the roster, and now Hicks kind of taking on more of a bench type role. I guess they felt Locastro wasn't really necessary at this point in time, and I would kind of agree with that. DJ LeMahieu was able to pinch hit in the last game of the series, got a hit, and it sounds like he'll be ready to go and starting for this Blue Jays series, which will be nice. But for the Yankees, the offensive malaise continues, into the third game. I mean, really, the Yankees scored one run in this series through about 23 innings, thereabouts. That's just not going to get it done. The Yankees, the offense has been really a big problem. But the Yankees in Game 3 were able to break out of it, and mainly the home run ball. Gleyber Torres, Anthony Rizzo, and Josh Donaldson were able to hit, key home runs. So, Game 1, Garrett Cole is on the mound against Jalen Beeks, who, it's kind of funny. Beeks begins the series, and then Beeks ends it. Beeks begins the series in a pretty good way, 2 scoreless innings. But Ryan Yarbrough was really the bulk pitcher, if you will, for the Rays. He goes 4 innings in relief of Beeks. So a couple of lefties going for the Rays, and the Yankees, really couldn't get much going. It was a pretty ugly lineup where Gleyber Torres was leading off. I guess Gleyber, let me think about this. Gleyber, did he lead off the second game, or was it Benintendi? No, it was Gleyber. So Gleyber leads off, right, against the lefty. So they went with Gleyber in leadoff hole versus the lefty, and Benintendi leading off versus the righty, and Kluber in game 3. So Gleyber leads off, and yeah, again, at this point, Andujar's batting 5th. Just kind of an ugly lineup, but Aaron Hicks was the one. There's not a whole lot to talk about in this game besides Aaron Hicks. So the 4th inning is where we go to. And Garrett Cole ends up, and he didn't deserve the run to be earned against him. Like, it should have been an error on Hicks, but Cole goes 6 innings, gives up 1 run. And look, you wish that he could have gone deeper, right? Like, I wish 7. But look, 6 innings, 1 run, I'm not going to complain with that at all. That's nitpicking. And again, that 1 run was on Aaron Hicks. So in the 4th, it's a leadoff triple by David Peralta. Hicks was turning around 3 different times and just lost track of the ball. And it drops for a base hit, a triple for Peralta. That's just another example of Aaron Hicks just not being a good center fielder. He just isn't. Not only can he not hit, he's not a good center fielder at all. Then with the infield drawn in, Isaac Paredes gets an RBI single to give the Rays a 1-0 lead. And that's all they would need, sadly. That was all they need. But in the bottom of the 4th is a chance at redemption for Aaron Hicks. You do get a leadoff single by Andujar, a sac bunt by Benintendi that ends up being a fielding error by Ryan Yarbrough, so it's 1st and 2nd. And then Trevino tries to bunt unsuccessfully as they get the out at 3rd, so no advance. But Isaiah kind of left the singles, and on this single, I'm thinking, I kind of wish that Rojas sent Benintendi only because Aaron Hicks is on deck. To be fair, if Benintendi was sent, there's a decent chance he's thrown out, but I just had no faith in Hicks. Sure enough, Aaron Hicks, after his big fuck up, in the field, bases loaded, 1 out. It's a 1-2-3 double play for Aaron Hicks. A little squib to Yarbrough, throws it to Mejia, throws it to Choi, double play, inning over. That's the 4th double play this season for Hicks with the bases loaded. Gleyber actually is tied with Hicks, I believe, for the major league lead with 4 ground double plays with the bases loaded. And Hicks's career numbers with the bases loaded are absolutely dreadful. I think it's like less than 150 in a very decent sample size. I mean, Aaron Hicks has been in the major leagues for a long time now. I can't support Aaron Hicks. I've been done with him for a while, and luckily I think the Yankees finally are too. So, like I said, Cole goes 6. Then Jonathan Loaisiga is able to pitch a scoreless 7th. He goes 1-2-3. And then in the 8th, it would be Loaisiga for 1 out and then Wandy Peralta for 2 outs. And then at the bottom of the 8th, you get a leadoff single for Gleyber, and then Aaron Judge against Ryan Thompson grounds into a double play. Ends the inning right there. Oh, not ends the inning, but really ends the threat. And then we go to the 9th, and Peralta, there's a couple of walks. So, unfortunately, Wandy can't get through the 9th. And so Lou Trevino comes on. And for Lou Trevino, been a bit of a struggle. Whereas I kind of liked what I saw from him initially as a Yank. Lately, it's been tough. And Trevino kind of unfortunately let this game get out of hand. And I don't know. It's tough to say which way Boone should have went with it, but I don't know. Wandy with a couple of walks, and then Trevino gives up an RBI single to Jose Siri, the former Astro, who had a pretty good series. Then Mejia is hit by a pitch. So after that RBI single by Siri to make it 2-0, hit by a pitch Mejia, and then Yandy Diaz, who is really one of the best guys in that Ray lineup. He really is a very solid player. Yandy Diaz, very underrated. 2-run single for Diaz to make it 4-0. And at that point, it is completely over. So Trevino kind of ensures the Yankees have no chance in the 9th. And they don't score. So the Yankees get shut out. They lose 4-0. We go to game 2. Not a whole lot to talk about in game 2. Nestor Cortez makes one mistake early, and it costs him. It was Jeffrey Springs versus Nestor Cortez. Mind you, at this point, Aaron Hicks is out of the lineup. Aaron Hicks did not play in games 2 or 3. But I shouldn't say he did play in game 3. He didn't start in the second and third games. So 2 nights in a row, no Hicks. He's being phased out. And in fact, Marlon Gonzalez with a rare start. We haven't seen a whole lot of him lately. He starts in right field. Judge goes back to center field for the first time in a while. He's played mostly right field, Judge. But Nestor Cortez makes one mistake to his buddy Randy Arozarena. If you remember the last time they were at Yankee Stadium, there was a delay. And Arozarena was just kind of shooting the shit with Nestor Cortez by the Yankee dugout. At that point, Cortez had kind of owned Arozarena. But Arozarena got him back. A 3-run homer for Randy Arozarena in the first inning. And with the way the Yankees are playing, that kind of felt like that's all she wrote, and it kind of was. So it's 3-0 Rays right there. Cortez, give him credit. He would then throw 6 scoreless innings after he gets out of the first. So Cortez, 7 innings of 3-run ball. He'll take that every time. And Cortez has really been a source of consistency, but it does hurt to give that 3-run homer in the first inning. And Jeffrey Springs pitched pretty damn well for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's been a good find for Tampa. And, you know, when you think about opportunities for the Yanks, pretty much few and far. It didn't really happen a whole lot. In the 5th, you get a triple, a one-out triple for Andrew Benintendi. And Benintendi's been coming around just a bit. You're seeing signs of life there. You know, I still want to see a lot more, but it's getting better. And then it's a fortunate run for the Yankees. Andujar, it's a ground ball to third, but it's a fielding error by Yandy Diaz. Everyone's safe. The run scores, and so it makes it 3-1. Then kind of Falefa walks, and you kind of have the big moment right here. Marlon Gonzalez, who has not been very productive when he's been in there, rounds into a double play, and the score stays at 3-1. You know, you go to the 7th, and Josh Donaldson gets a leadoff single off of Brooks Raley, but then Trevino grounds out Donaldson to second. Benintendi flies out Donaldson to third, and then Sean Armstrong comes on to face Miguel Andujar, and he strikes Andujar out. And who knows? That could be Andujar's maybe last at bat as a Yankee. Maybe, you know, but it certainly could be. Albert Abreu comes on, and Abreu pitches a good 8th and 9th. 1, 2, 3, 8th, and 9th. Abreu seems to pitch well in more of the lower leverage situations, but he does not pitch well, you know, when the Yankees have leads in close spots. But, yeah, again, not a whole lot going here. Really the best chance they had, the 8th, 2-out single with Gleyber Torres. Jason Adam comes on, you know, one of the best relievers in baseball this season. Adam is able to get Aaron Judge to ground out. So Judge, the tying run, doesn't get it done. Yankees go down 1-2-3 in the 9th. They lose 3-1. And so at this point, they've lost their 5th straight series, and the Yankees' hope for the last game is to salvage the series and not get swept, and they would actually salvage it. In what was a very eventful game. Corey Kluber, the former Yankee, who has not pitched that well for the Rays this year, has pitched very well versus the Yankees, and that continued. 6 innings of 2-run ball, you know, makes one mistake to Gleyber Torres, and it was a really good outing for Corey Kluber. Domingo Germán, not a great night as it unfolds. Germán, who has been pretty good lately, he almost kind of had one of his sort of, you know, 5-inning, 1-run type outings, which you take every time, but it didn't happen. He ends up giving 3 runs in 4 2/3, so not a great outing for Domingo. And the Yankees would have to kind of piece it together bullpen-wise the rest of the way. But the Yankees were able to come back, and they desperately needed it. You get the debut of Oswaldo Cabrera. Florial is back. LeMahieu comes off the bench. Hicks stays on the bench to start. And the Rays get on the board in the 3rd. It's a leadoff walk to Jose Siri. You never want to do that, so Germán messes up there. And then it's a 1-out double for RBI double for Yandy Diaz. Again, Diaz really, you know, getting some big hits for Tampa. So that makes the 1-0 Rays right there. Then in the 5th, Siri's at it again. 1-out double for Jose Siri. A single for Francisco Mejia, 1st and 3rd, and you get a 2-run double by Yandy Diaz. So another RBI double for Diaz, this time a 2-run double, makes it 3-0 Rays. And Germán doesn't make it out of the 5th as they bring on Lucas Licky to finish up the 5th inning. At this point, Kluber's cruising. And to make matters worse, Licky gives up a home run to Harold Ramirez. So Ramirez gives the Rays a 4-0 lead. And then the bottom of the sixth, the Yankees get it going a little bit. Aaron Judge doubles, and it was a big one. And then Gleyber Torres hits a two-run homer to cut the lead in half, cut the deficit in half. It's the 17th homer of the year for Gleyber Torres. It makes it 4-2. In the seventh, Lou Trevino comes on and gets into a little bit of trouble. There's a strikeout, but there's a single, there's a walk, and Trevino's taken out of the game. Mind you, there's a rain delay at this point, a pretty lengthy rain delay. It was like about an hour, more than an hour. Ron Marinaccio comes on, and Marinaccio does the job. He strikes out David Peralta, and then he gets Harold Ramirez to line out. A really nice play by Florial, kind of a shoestring catch, and on a play where Aaron Hicks probably doesn't make that play. So we go to the seventh, and the Yankees cut just a little bit closer. Colin Poche, the lefty, is on, and Jose Trevino gets a leadoff single. Then a pinch hit single for LeMahieu. Marlon Gonzalez pinch runs for DJ. Then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa lines out to center. Benintendi walks, and so it's bases loaded for Aaron Judge. And Pete Fairbanks comes on, and it's a 4-pitch bases loaded walk to Judge. Some close calls there. They all go Judge's way. And so now it's 4-3. And then Gleyber Torres, first pitch probably should have taken with the bases loaded and a 4-pitch walk to Judge, but that's sort of Gleyber's IQ not always being there. And Gleyber, it's a double play. And his numbers are really, really, really bad with bases loaded. I think Gleyber's 1 for 14 this year with the bases juiced. So that makes it so that it's only 4-3 still. The Yankees have not tied it up yet. In the eighth, Marinaccio pitches a scoreless eighth inning. So Ron, coming back up and doing his thing. And then the bottom of the eighth, lefty, Anthony Rizzo, who he is a clutch player, Anthony Rizzo. I find that in the late moments is when he really steps up, and Rizzo homers off of Brooks Raley. 28th homer of the year for Rizzo, and we're all tied at 4. We head to the ninth, and who I think might be the new the new Clay Holmes, if you will, in terms of kind of being the top guy in the pecking order of the bullpen is Scott Effross, the reliever the Yankees acquired from the Cubs. It's been really good. Pitched a scoreless ninth inning with a couple of strikeouts. The Yankees do go down 1-2-3 in the bottom ninth. You saw Aaron Hicks pinch hit for Kiner-Falefa. I don't love it, but I guess they were looking for a walk. And Thompson's really good versus righties. Again, I don't love it, but it happens, and Hicks does strike out. And we go to the 10th. We go to extra innings, which has not worked out well for the Yanks, but it does this time. Harold Ramirez grounds out against Effross, and they bring in Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis Chapman should not, if you can avoid it, he should not be pitching in high leverage situations. Let him pitch in the 7th. Let him even pitch in the 8th if you must. But, in the 9th inning and extra innings and the biggest of moments, you can't trust Aroldis Chapman. And the control is not always there. In fact, it's usually not there. And this is just my point about him. I know he's been good lately. I know that the Yankees are kind of thin on options, but it should not be Aroldis Chapman. It just can't be. So it's a 4-pitch walk to Isaac Paredes. Then it's a 5-pitch walk to Taylor Walls. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Siri strikes out. So maybe he gets out of this. Bases loaded, 2 out, 0-2 to Francisco Mejia, and Mejia gets a 3-run double. So that makes it 7-4. And so Chapman messes it up. 7-4 Rays. So things are looking like, all right, Yankees are about to get swept. The downfall continues. Not so fast. Jalen Beeks comes on to close it out. And Gleyber Torres starts it off with a single. That's always big. Gleyber Torres, opposite field single. So while Gleyber messed up with that double play, he did get the home run, and he does get the single. And then it's a 4-pitch walk to Anthony Rizzo, setting the stage, bases loaded for Josh Donaldson. And Donaldson delivers. It is a grand slam, opposite field grand slam. It's his 12th homer of the season, and Donaldson is a hero. That is actually Donaldson's 3rd walk-off of the season. He has not done well at home, but he has. There is a clutch factor to Josh Donaldson, relative, I guess, to sort of his regular struggles. He has come through in some pretty big moments. Opening day comes to mind, but Donaldson here with, look, maybe one of the biggest hits of the Yankee season to this point, a walk-off grand slam. It's the 3rd walk-off grand slam in Yankee history in which the Yankees were trailing by 3 when it was hit. 1925 Babe Ruth, 2002 Jason Giambi against the Twins, which was a very memorable game. It was an extra inning game. Giambi had kind of been struggling as a Yankee at that point. It was kind of like his Yankee moment to kind of, get him going as a Yank. And then this, Josh Donaldson, 20 years later, does it against the Rays. So the Yankees lose the series, but they don't get swept. And that was big. I mean, if the Rays had won that game against the Yankees would have only been up 7 on the loss side. Instead, now it's 9 on the loss side against the Rays and the Blue Jays, and the Yankees are 10 games up in the division. So the division lead is still in a good place. And so now the Yankees have a 4-game set with the Blue Jays. This will be a very interesting series. A struggling Blue Jay team similar to the Yankees. Both teams are not playing so well. Jose Barrios will face off against Frankie Montas. Montas making his Yankee home debut. Then game 2, Kevin Gausman versus Jameson Taillon. Game 3, I believe, will be Mitch White, the former Dodger. Mitch White, I believe, it seems like he'll be the starter against Garrett Cole. And then Sunday, the Blue Jays have not announced their starter, and it will be against Nestor Cortez on Paul O'Neill Day at the stadium. So this should be a fun one against the Blue Jays. A 4-game set. For me, honestly, sign me up for a split. Sign me up for a split. If the Yankees can go 2 out of 4, that's fine, honestly. But I am curious to see how this goes because, look, the Blue Jays on paper, you would think would be the main competition to the Yankees in the division. One would think. And so this will be the last series between these two teams at Yankee Stadium. So again, Yankees lose the series to the Rays. It's their 5th straight series loss, but they do salvage the series. They avoid the sweep with the walk-off grand slam by Josh Donaldson.